13 hits for Seattle, 6 runs, 11 hits. Boston left 10, Seattle 3. Mike Maddox the winner, Jeff Nelson the loser, Rick Aguilera the same. Now for Buck Martinez, Sean McDonough saying so long from Fenway Park. Let's head to Los Angeles. Dewayne, Staats, and Joe Morgan.
Thank you, Sean, and welcome everyone to Southern California, where the Mets and the Dodgers have just started their contest. We're in the top of the first. Joe Orsulak has grounded out to short, and Jose Vizcaino at the plate. Vizcaino with a count of 2-2, facing the right-hander Tom Candiotti. The Dodgers start the night just a half game in front of the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies have won their game against Pittsburgh tonight. So Tommy Lasorda and the Dodgers have first place in the West at stake. At least sole possession of first for the time being. Vizcaino pops it up, foul ball, and Hansen is under it to make the grab for the out. 2 gone here against Tom Candiotti.
Well, Tom Candiotti is a knuckleball pitcher, but he will throw some slow curveballs when he falls behind 2-0. And he'll mix in a cut fastball every once in a while, but basically he uses the knuckleball.
And you saw his numbers across the line. They're all pretty good, except for wins and losses, 6 and 11. But he has not received a lot of run support this year. A little over 3.3 runs per game. And this is Carl Everett fouling it out of play, strike 1. Base is empty with 2 gone. The Mets have been playing very well. They've been winning with a lot of young players under the direction of Dallas Green. A ball and a strike. And Everett is one of those young players, switch hitting outfielder, just 24 years old. Two and one. And Joe, I don't think I have, at least in recent memory, can recall a club with less major league experience than perhaps the Mets. They have 17 players on this club with 2 years or less experience in the major leagues.
And you're right. And during the telecast, Dewayne, I'm going to show you some statistics between the Dodgers and the Mets. I think will really surprise you about runs scored, defense, etc.
The count goes to 3-2 here on Everett. Hansen at third base tonight in the place of Tim Wallach, who is out with a ligament tear in his knee. And Everett draws the walk, so a 2-out pass gives the Mets a base runner in the first inning. A quick look at Dallas Green's starting lineup. Orsulak, Vizcaino, and Everett, followed by Kent, Brogna, and Thompson. Butch Husky, the 7th hitter, followed by Kelly Stinnett and the pitcher, Dave Mlicki. Jeff Kent up there.
Since Bobby Bonilla left, Jeff Kent has been the 4th place hitter for the Mets. And he produced last night, hitting a 2-out home run in the 9th inning to tie the ball game. The Mets won it in extra innings.
That's Everett over at first. Kent has 15 home runs for the year. Everett has good speed, but he has just 1 stolen base and has been caught 5 times.
And really what you want to do is run on knuckleball pitchers if you can, because it's difficult for the catcher to come out from behind the plate too quickly. He has to wait and catch the ball first and then make his throw. So a lot of teams with speed will try to run on knuckleball pitchers.
You know, Joe, it's interesting. There are a lot of numbers when you try to analyze this Los Angeles ball club. A lot of their numbers really defy analysis in some ways, especially when you look at their offense. But you bring up Candiotti. This ball knocked down by Piazza, and alert base running. Everett moves up to second base. Piazza knocked it down, and Everett took off and moves into second base. So the count is 2 balls, no strikes. Candiotti's one of them. Here's a knuckleball pitcher. There have been 12 caught stealings against him and 10 stolen bases with him on the mound.
And that's amazing because the knuckleball bounces all over the place as we see here. And you see Everett slides late. Watch his left leg. See how he strained his knee against the bag. He hit the bag very hard with his left leg.
Count goes to 2-1 on Jeff Kent. That's a wild pitch charged to Candiotti, and he's over 150 innings. That's the 5th wild pitch charged against him. And for a knuckleball pitcher, that's not all that bad.
No, it is not. But they're probably calling a lot of pass balls that you could probably call wild pitches on occasion.
There's ball 3.
But you're right about the Dodgers. That's why I said I was going to give you some statistics later on. They defy explanation. I mean, you look at the Dodgers, they're last in the league in fielding, and you think of all the power they have with the Piazzas, the Karras, and Mondesi's of the world, but they're really not a run-producing ball club either.
Kent goes after the 3-1, and now we have a count all the way out, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
In fact, the Mets have outscored the Dodgers.
Yep.
You know, and most people wouldn't believe that. They've outscored the Dodgers. They have a higher slugging percentage. They have a same on-base percentage. They're 7 home runs behind the Dodgers. But they've scored 9 more runs.
Pickoff play at second. They got him. Everett caught off second base with DeShields covering the bag to retire the side. Bottom of the first coming from Dodger Stadium. No score. Some of the mystery numbers of this Dodger ball club. Only the Cardinals have scored fewer runs in the National League than the Los Angeles Dodgers. Unbelievable.
Well, it's unbelievable when you think of the big names the Dodgers have. You know, as I mentioned, Mondesi and, of course, Karras and Piazza.
A quick look at the Dodger lineup. Butler leading off. Offerman, Piazza, Karras, Mondesi, DeShields, Hansen, Fonville, and Candiotti hitting ninth. And the Dodger fan reaction to Brett Butler, kind of interesting here. A mixed reaction at best as Butler steps in. Second time around in a Dodger uniform, and he takes the first pitch.
Well, I think it's a little bit unfair, Dwayne. It's about the fact of him making statements in the paper about the replacement player that they brought up, Mike Bush. And that's one of the problems. There you're going to look at Bush. But one of the problems you have when you're a leader on a ball club is that you have to stick your neck out there. And a lot of times it'll get chopped off. But that's what a leader is. He's willing to make the statements that he thinks are in the best interest of his ball club and his other teammates. And I think that's what Brett Butler did. Basically, he just said that he's not surprised that they brought him up, but he never thought they would. It's kind of a contradictory, but he says, you know, we do not need another distraction at this time.
Bouncer to short. Vizcaino gets rid of it quickly, and the scoop by Brogna not in time. Butler has an infield hit.
You see how they change those boos to cheers. You hustle, you play the game hard, and eventually you will win the fans back. It's a tough play for Vizcaino. He gets rid of the ball very quickly. Nice scoop at first base by Brogna. A very close play, but Butler beats it out, and he has an infield hit.
Well, Butler's on-base percentage is over .370, and that's one of the elements the Dodgers needed when they reacquired Butler, who's aboard, and here's Offerman.
Well, the problem was Fonville was hitting well, hitting .280 at the top of the order, but his on-base percentage was only like .310, so he was really not getting a lot of walks. He only had 14 walks as a leadoff man, so you need someone to get on base. That's why they say the Dodger offense has been inconsistent. They haven't had enough people on at the top of the order.
And the bunt is popped up. Stinnett out from back of the plate takes care of that one for the out. So Offerman is retired for the first out.
Smart pitch here by Mlicki. Anytime a hitter is bunting, you throw the ball high. Throw it up above the letters, and a lot of times you'll get a pop-up. See how the bat drops always will drop below the ball. You pop it up, and Stinnett makes the catch.
Dave Mlicki making his 19th start, 23rd appearance overall for the Mets, and he has given them some innings this year.
And pretty good numbers right there from Mlicki. He's 2-0 against the Dodgers this year. And this Mets ball club really matches up well against the Dodgers because of their pitching staff.
Mike Piazza Piazza, the National League's Player of the Week, and what a week he experienced. Leads the league in hitting, leads the league in slugging percentage. 369 atop the National League.
Dwayne, the Dodgers are a team that if you can keep them in the ballpark, keep the middle three guys from hitting the ball out of the ballpark, make the Dodgers manufacture runs, you can beat them. And that is really the reason that the Dodgers have not been able to separate themselves from the rest of the National League West, because they still have the best pitching in the West.
Mlicki misses inside, ball one. One of the things that has bothered Mlicki this year has been the long ball. He has given up 21 home runs in 119 innings. Other than that, he has been more than serviceable as a starting pitcher for the Mets. And a big rip as Piazza comes up empty. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Piazza has been so hot that there's really not any way to pitch him. I've watched the Phillies pitch to him on Sunday. They tried different ways of getting him out, and he made them pay each time. So he's a hitter that really likes the ball away, out over the plate. And even if you get it down and out over the plate, he can still hurt you. The best place to pitch him is try to crowd him. But if you pitch him inside and you miss, move it out over the plate 6 or 8 inches, he makes you pay again. So very difficult to pitch to unless you have excellent control.
The count is 1-1. Butler at first, 1 out. Butler fakes a start, and this one lifted down the right side. Long run for Everett into foul territory, and near the stands, he makes the catch. Everett had a long way to go, but he got some hang time on that pop foul down the right field side.
Well, Piazza will give you some hang time. In the last week, it's been hang time over the walls. But you see Everett ran into the wall, but he had a long way to go. Look how far he has to go for this ball. Then he gets there and he has to fight the fans for the ball. And he's able to make the play. Nice play there by Everett. And that's another good thing about the Mets. The Mets play hard. Dallas Green has them hustling. And this ball club has responded since the All-Star break, and they're playing very well.
Yeah, they're 25-19 since the All-Star break. They've won 9 of their last 12 under Dallas Green. There's been a lot of speculation in New York about his future and whether he'll be back to manage the Mets next year.
Interesting article by Claire Smith. I thought it was very interesting. And the caption said, Green deserves a shot to see the Mets through. You know, these young players are going to be around in the next couple of years, and they say he deserves a chance to manage them.
Karras takes the pitch too low, ball 1. Karras with, I guess you could call it a breakout year, among the top 10 in the league in runs batted in, 80, just under 300 for the season. He's 27 years old. And he fouls this one back, 1-1.
And he does not get cheated. The middle of this Dodger lineup does not get cheated. Starting with Piazza, Karras, and Mondesi. They all take good rips. They're not up there trying to get base on balls. They're hacking.
And as a result, Piazza with 26 home runs, Karras with 24, Mondesi with 21. And a shot by Husky and up the left field line. Orsulak to the line for the pickup. The throw's back to second, and he is safe.
Well, you'll assume he's safe, right? We do not get a call there at second base. I mean, Paul Runge looked like he was just following the play to see if he held on to the ball. But he never made a call. I guess he made a verbal call at second base, but
didn't help us out much.
Yeah, didn't give us a signal.
So Butler goes to third. Karras at second with his 25th double of the year.
Ball sinking down and in, and Karras rips it by Husky at third. And they really had a shot at him. Orsulak way off the line, though. He gets over. This is one of the problems of being left-handed when you're playing left field. You have to turn back and throw across your body. And you see the throw does get there late, and Karras holds on, but look at Runge. He has not made a call yet.
Now Mondesi. And the pitch is low. Mondesi's done about everything for the Dodgers the last couple of years, but one area that has been a problem spot for him has been this spot. 2 outs with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .189. That's about the only thing he hasn't excelled in. 2 balls, no strikes.
And one of the problems there, Dewayne, is the fact that he is a very aggressive hitter, and he doesn't have a lot of patience in these situations. He will chase balls in the dirt, breaking balls out of the strike zone, and that's one of the problems. He figures if the runner's in scoring position, he has to get him in. And a lot of times he goes out of the strike zone trying to do so.
He misses the 2-0 pitch. 2 balls and a strike.
Mlicki came back with a 2-0 breaking ball. If there is a weakness in Mondesi's game, it would be the breaking ball, because again, he will chase it on occasion.
Butler at third, Karras at second. And that will square the count at 2-2. Mlicki overall 243 when it comes to the league against him, but with men in scoring position, he toughens. 219. The count is square to Mondesi in the bottom of the first. No score in this game. 2 men in scoring position. Mondesi. By Staats as the count goes all the way to 3-2. Staats getting a little more time behind the plate than he anticipated. Todd Hundley due to be activated the 1st of September, but probably not ready to play even then. They will ease him back in. So Staats has done a lot of the catching. The 3-2. Fouled in front of Joey Amalfitano.
Well, Mlicki is flirting with danger with the breaking ball. Whenever he throws a good one, it bounces. And the other two, he is basically hung in the middle of the plate. You can't get away with that too often against a guy like Mondesi. Look at this ball. It hangs right in the middle of the plate, right there, up and in the middle. Mondesi will hammer that ball. You have to get the breaking ball down.
So another 3-2 pitch coming from Mlicki to Mondesi. He steps back. Dodgers threaten. Mets had a base runner in the first. He was picked off. The Dodgers have the game's first scoring opportunity. The 3-2, and Mondesi is out on strikes. Chase to pitch, first strikeout for Mlicki. The Dodgers do not score. They leave 2, and at the end of 1 from L.A., Mets nothing, Dodgers nothing. Stadium, Friday night at 8:30 Eastern. ESPN presents Arena Bowl 9, the Orlando Predators against the Tampa Bay Storm. Tampa Bay trying to win their 3rd Arena Bowl championship this decade. It'll be from the Thunderdome in Tampa, Friday night on ESPN. Tom Candiotti, who will be 38 years old tomorrow, set to go to work here in the 2nd inning. He'll face Jeff Kent, who was at the plate when Carl Everett was picked off to end the top of the 1st. So it'll be the middle 3, Kent, Brogna, and then Thompson for the Mets. And a base hit into center. Kent serves it into center, dropping it in front of Butler for the first hit given up by Candiotti.
Good call. That's exactly what he did. He kind of served it into center field. He did not take a big cut. Just kind of flipped it over the infield. But that'll work.
Rico Brogna.
So the Mets have a leadoff base hit in Kent.
Carroll's kind of giving him a little static there. So you're going to take that?
And he now has a mini hitting streak out to 7 games. Here's Rico Brogna. Brogna, just 25 years old. He's made a lot of progress. Ball gets away from Piazza. And down to second base goes Kent.
Well, that has to be a wild pitch. Tough play for Piazza. The ball bounces in front of the plate and actually hits him in the mask. Watch. It'll bounce in front of the plate. Now it hits him. And then it hits the umpire's mask. Bounces away. And that's the second wild pitch tonight. So maybe we're going to help his total tonight.
Yeah.
He only had 5 coming in, right? Oh, that was his 6th.
Yep. And 4, so he's halfway to that total already, and we're not even through 2 innings. A ball, no strikes, the count to Brogna. Runs foul, the count is 1-1. Brogna, for a while, was in the 3rd spot, and now has been dropped into that number 5 slot by Dallas Green, and is hitting well. 359 as a 5th place hitter.
I think he was put there to help protect Jeff Kent and to give him one more bat down in the order, one more power bat.
0-1. He's been a little more selective. As he came up, was highly regarded by the Tigers and Sparky Anderson. A lot of pressure on him as a very young player. Into the Mets some time in their system, and now at the major league level is maturing into a pretty good hitter.
I'll tell you one thing, Candiotti's knuckleball is moving better tonight so far than I've seen it. In the last 2 starts I've seen him go, and you see Piazza's having trouble with it. In the past, Piazza's been able to handle it pretty well. He stabbed at that ball, which tells you that the ball is moving late. And a lot.
It can be good and it can be bad.
Yes, exactly.
3-1 is foul out of play.
He always figures the knuckleball dances better, I guess, in hot, humid weather, and we have a little bit of that tonight. It's pretty warm, humidity. The Houston Astros years ago had a pitcher, Bannister, left-hander.
Floyd Bannister.
Floyd Bannister, and I tell you what, his breaking ball broke too much. I mean, if there's such a thing, he really did. And I saw a guy for the Detroit the other day, Krivda. His ball breaks a lot. And there is such a thing as breaking too much because you can't get it in the strike zone. And if you get the knuckleball dancing too much, Candiotti will not be able to keep it in the strike zone.
And they say, especially with Candiotti, that if that knuckleball is down, it really starts to dance low, which can make it difficult not only to get a strike out of that, but difficult for the catcher, in this case, Piazza, to corral. 3-2 the count to Brogna. And he lifts the fly ball to center. Butler a bit toward left center is there to make the grab for the out.
Well, Brogna tried to pull the ball. The first 2 strikes, he was really trying to pull it to the right side to move Ken along, but after 2 strikes, you just have to put the ball in play, especially with a knuckleball pitcher. So you can't really fault him there. He tried on the first 2 pitches, first 2 strikes.
Now Ryan Thompson. With all of the young outfielders the Mets have been playing, and with a couple more in the minor leagues, Thompson, who's only 27 years old, is starting to be regarded as maybe the old man and maybe the odd man out in this New York Mets outfield setup. Pitch is inside, ball 1. He lost a lot of playing time this year because of a hamstring injury. Runner at second is Kent, 1 out. There's ball 2. 2-0. The count. Tom Candiotti. 7-7 last year. His best year in terms of wins came in a Cleveland uniform back in 1986. He was 16-12 with the Indians. 3-0 to Thompson.
A lot of people have different opinions about knuckleball pitchers, or whether they can actually be big winners, or whether they're always going to be around 500.
There's some managers who just don't want them.
And the reason that they're afraid of them, Dewayne, is because in tight ball games, 7th inning, when you can't throw strikes with that knuckleball and you have to come with another pitch, hitters will eat them up. So you always try to stay close to a knuckleball pitcher, and you figure you have a chance of beating him in the late innings.
The 3-1 tap towards short. Offerman will have to go to first. Out there. Kent advances to third, where he is set up with 2 men gone.
Third
Thompson
baseman
with a roller down to short.
42, Butch Husky.
And now Butch Husky, whose career may have been resurrected in this New York Mets organization. Big third baseman. Had some problems the first time around with the Mets. He's still just 23 years old. Was having a good year at the AAA level. And now getting another look and trying to make the most of it. He's more spread out at the plate now. Strike 1.
Well, I'm sure he has not seen very many good knuckleballs, so this could be an experience for him.
His numbers at Norfolk, 28 homers and 87 runs batted in. He was leading the league in those 2 departments when he was recalled from the minor leagues. One ball, 1 strike. Spending the last year plus in the minor leagues, he went down and readjusted his approach to hitting. He had Bobby Valentine for a time, and this year Toby Harrah was his manager, and he had the same approach to spread him out a little bit, try to keep him from overstriding.
See Piazza fighting that ball, Dwayne. He's snatching and doing everything he can because obviously he does not want to pass ball at this time or a wild pitch. A lot of pressure on him tonight. Watch him jump at this ball. Watch. See, look at that. I mean, he doesn't know exactly where it's going. Again, I believe his ball's moving better than I've seen it.
Grounds foul. The count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. You have to give Piazza a lot of credit. Here's a fellow who is really learning to catch at the major league level.
Right.
He's in a divisional race here. The Dodgers up by a half game. Mike Scioscia, the veteran Dodger catcher, has been around off and on this year to help with his development. And the count goes to 3-2.
And it's very difficult for a young catcher to catch a knuckleball. Knuckleball pitchers are difficult to catch. And in fact, I've known some catchers I play with who refuse to catch knuckleball pitches.
3-2 to Husky. And a bouncer to Offerman. Long throw from short. Out at first base, and that takes care of the Mets in the second. They pick up a hit and leave 1. We're through an inning and a half from Dodger Stadium. No score.
I've stopped playing baseball now, but my son Reed just signed a pro contract. Sometimes we go over his game, and if he asks, I tell him what I know. Like when your muscles get sore, take Advil. Just a couple are strong, fast, and work for me. And Advil's gentle on my stomach.
If it'll work on these old muscles, then I know it'll work on mine.
Nothing's been proven to last longer than Advil. Advanced medicine for pain.
Hallelujah. TV Guide's big 36-page NFL previews here. Get it now or you're hurting. TV Guide. It's the best writing on television.
Maybe you shouldn't watch this.
All right, man, get off me. Y'all been nosy now.
But if you're not afraid, call this number now to get into pro football's private world with this exclusive new video, Total Access 95. Plus, you'll also catch this officially licensed NFL football, both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. With Total Access, you go wherever you want.
Going into every room with a camera.
You'll hear things you shouldn't.
This movie is rated R. No, you're wrong. Adult language. Gotcha, dang it. Doggone it.
You'll know when things go wrong.
We need another receiver. Oh, boy. But that ain't my fault, Coach. Oh, man.
You'll have Total Access and a great football free when you order 54 issues for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now to get Total Access and your NFL football both free from SI. There is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Number 14, second baseman,
We're in Dodger Stadium tonight. Los Angeles, the Dodgers and the Mets. This is the second game of a 9-game homestand for the Dodgers, so they are hoping to take advantage of being at home. Starting the night with a half-game lead on Colorado, the Rockies have won their game. And here's Delino DeShields, who has reasserted himself in the Dodger picture, back at second base, and he'll lead off the bottom of the second inning. DeShields, Hansen, and Fonville for the Dodgers against Dave Mlicki. First pitch is fouled out of play. Strike one.
Well, Delino DeShields was inserted back into the lineup because they needed some more speed in the lineup. They needed to figure a way to manufacture some more runs, and of course he can steal some bases. And since he's been back, he's 16 for 35. They moved Fonville from second base to left field, which means that Roberto Kelly is the odd man out right now.
This one is high. 1 ball and 1 strike. DeShields had some problems earlier, some leg and hip problems that kept him off his game. He really struggled through July, hit less than 150 in July, but has turned it around, and for the month of August has been around 450. He's behind the count now, 1-2.
And with he and Fonville in the lineup, they add a lot of speed to the Dodger lineup.
So that one foul, holding the count at 1-2.
And we mentioned the Dodgers, if they do not hit the ball out of the ballpark, they have problems manufacturing runs. So the only other way to do that is try to use your speed, get some speedy guys in the lineup, and try to move them around.
And that's strike 3, says Jerry Lane.
Well, it was a foul tip. It was a foul tip. It actually hit the bat of Delino DeShields. The ball is inside. It's a curveball. Now watch, the ball actually foul tips. Watch, you'll see the umpire give the foul sign right there. That tells you that the ball fouled off of Delino DeShields' bat. It wasn't a call strike.
So DeShields, the first out in the second strikeout for Mlicki. And here's Dave Hansen. Base hit right back through the middle, over the top of Mlicki's head. Hansen hit the ball sharply and is aboard with 1 out. 1 on, 1 out. Let's check in with Carl Ravitch.
Number 3.
Hi, Dwayne. Thanks very much. Checking the Expos and Padres. Only other late game going on the West Coast. Mark Rozelenek off Gil Heredia. Mike Lansing was on after a single. He stole second. He comes around to score. And the Expos and Padres, who began the night exactly 3 back in the wild card. Well, you take it from here, Dwayne.
All right, thank you, Carl. The Padres at the moment 3.5 back in the wild card race, with Colorado up on Houston by a half game. So the Padres alive in the wild card race and in the National League West. We'll keep an eye on that game down the coast. Chad Fonville fouls this one out of play. Strike 1.
To this point, Chad Fonville has been very, very instrumental in the Dodgers' success this season. We mentioned DeShields was not hitting well. They acquired him from Montreal, put him at second base. He's hit well for them. But you can see he doesn't have a great on-base percentage, but he has hit well for them, and he's been able to play 3-4 different positions: shortstop, left field, and center field, along with second base.
He tries to bunt this one and bunts it foul, putting him in the hole, 0-2. This is exactly what you were talking about, Joe.
And they acquired Butler back, so they moved him out of center field right away. But 6 at shortstop, 7 at left field, and 33 at second base. And he, obviously, his best position is second base, but he's still learning to play second base in the major leagues. And Brett Butler and he have really struck up a good friendship.
And that's going to be a base hit. Dropping into left center field. Thompson with the pickup. Hansen stops at second. 2 men on with 1 out.
This is what I like about Fonville. He does not try to do too much at the plate. He'll bunt, and then he'll just serve it over the infield. See, he doesn't try to do too much with the ball. Just tries to put it in play. And he hits a little soft line drive over shortstop. I mean, and he can fly, too. He is quite a find. I mean, Felipe Alou in Montreal did not want to lose him. He was a Rule 5 guy from the Giants that the Expos picked up. and they did not want to lose him, but something happened apparently, and they ended up trading him to the Dodgers.
Here's Tom Candiotti. The breakdown, 4 sacrifice bunts this year, and he's in a sacrificing situation now. First and second, 1 out.
See if Mlicki tries to throw the fastball up. Again, when a guy's trying to bunt, you should always try to throw the ball up. You might get a pop-up out of it.
Candiotti puts it down. A nice job. Mlicki will go to third, and he is out there. Mlicki recovered and made a nice play on that ball and got it to Husky for the force play on Hansen at third base.
Very fine play by Mlicki. He had made up his mind that he was going to third base all the way. Now he gets off the mound very quickly, charges it. Actually, what happens is he gets it stuck in his glove right there. Now he can't get it out the first time. He has to re-grip. Throws to third base. He's out. Now watch Mlicki. He's not going to be able to get it out of his glove the first time. See right there, he has to fumble with it, but he makes a good play. Very close play at third. Let the Mets get the call.
So the sacrifice attempt turns out to be a fielder's choice. First and second, 2 outs for the top of the order, Butler. And Butler looks at a strike. He reached on the infield hit his first time.
Normally with Butler hitting, it is difficult for him to score a guy from second base with a single, but Fonville with all his speed should make it. Plus the Mets are playing him deeper than in left and center than any team I've seen this year.
Mlicki started that one wide, tried to backdoor it, and it stayed out there.
See how deep they are in left field and center field for Butler. Normally, they do not play him that deep in left and center, maybe in right, because if he pulls it, of course, he can drive it. But normally you play very shallow in left and center.
Wide. 2 balls and a strike. The Dodgers have 4 hits. No runs so far. Shoots this one out of play to square the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mlicki left a couple men in scoring position in the first inning. There's 2 men on, runners first and second here in the second. He's already starting to rack up a few pitches.
He's also leaving a lot of balls up. You can't pitch up unless you have an overpowering fastball. And he's been lucky so far to get away with a lot of high pitches.
Butler started to go and takes the pitch for ball 3.
This is up. It's called up for ball 3. Take a look at this. And, of course, it breaks late behind the plate, so it is called the ball by Jerry Lane.
So with 2 outs, the runners break on this 3-2 pitch. There they go. Here it is. And ball 4, he left that one outside. So Mlicki draws his first walk. That will load the bases for Jose Offerman.
Shortstop, number 30.
Offerman tried to put down a bunt and popped out to the catcher, Kelly Stinnett, his first time around.
And Offerman has really struggled since the All-Star break. The All-Star break, he was hitting over 300. He made the All-Star team, and his game has just deteriorated here in the second half.
And the first pitch to him is upstairs. Ball 1.
And not only offensively, but defensively, he has struggled in the second half.
And he's made 30 errors this year, far and away the highest error total by a shortstop in the league. He's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Everything is up. I don't understand that. He needs to get the ball down.
Bases loaded. Fonville third. Candiotti second. Butler at first. And misses too low here. Up on the first two pitches. Tried to make the adjustment and missed. 3-0 the count.
Well, from one extreme to the other.
And a strike is called to make it 3-1. Dodgers have the bases loaded in this situation. They have not been very successful overall this year. Second worst in the league in this situation. And now the count goes to 3-2. So Offerman with a full count. A look at both managers. Here it is, 3-2. Runners go, and Offerman stays alive with a little foul ball. So Mlicki fell behind him and has worked the count all the way out, 3-2 now.
There are a lot of managers who would make a hitter take 3-1 with the bases loaded to try to get a walk. There are other managers that feel you'd make the hitter less aggressive if you make him take 3-1.
3-2 again. And ball four. That will force home a run. Fonville will cross the plate. And the Dodgers take the lead on a bases-loaded walk to Offerman. His 32nd run batted in. Offerman leads the Dodgers in walks as he gets credit for a run batted in with this base on balls, and he is fourth in the league in walks now with 65. Like Piazza's due, and before he steps in, Mlicki will get a visit.
Well, of course, Mlicki will have to be very careful with Piazza because he has been swinging the bat so well. And you say, well, you have to give him a pitch, make him swing the bat. Sometimes one run is not as bad as four giving up. But you have to make good pitches, or else he can put 4 numbers on the board instead of just one that you might give up with a walk.
Well, the Dodgers had an opportunity in the first, left 2 on. They have the bases loaded in the second. They've scored a run on the bases loaded walk, and here's Piazza. Piazza, what a day Sunday against the Phillies. 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in, including a grand slam. And he had the same thing in mind there.
But that is the perfect spot to pitch Mike Piazza, up and in. I said that earlier, that's the spot to pitch him, but you can't make any mistakes. Look at this pitch right here. Right there. He can't handle it. See how late he is on it? But you get that ball out over the plate and his bat speeds up. He's slow on the ball up and in.
And a big cut on the breaking ball.
That was a beautiful pitch there by Mlicki. Whenever he gets his breaking ball down, it's almost unhittable. The bottom drops out of it. But when he hangs it, he can get in trouble. He's thrown 2 perfect pitches here to Piazza, but you have to throw 3.
And Piazza has been red hot. The 0-2. Strike 3 call, and Mlicki did a heck of a job to get Piazza on 3 pitches. He hit the corner, and the Dodgers settle for 1 run and leave him loaded. We are through 2 with the score. The Dodgers 1, Mets nothing.
The Rockies got their offensive bats back after nearly being no-hit last night. Ellis Burks, a slump all season, breaks out of it with a deep shot. 6-0 the final. The Rockies over Pittsburgh, and neither team took batting practice because there were a swarm of bees on the field in Pittsburgh. Lane?
Okay, Carl. And the Rockies now a half game back of the Dodgers in the West. This one popping away from Piazza, and down to second base goes Mlicki with Joe Orsulak, the hitter.
Well, we have mentioned that his ball is moving more tonight than I have seen it all year. And Piazza's having a lot of problems with it. See, that ball is just dancing. He's been fighting it all night. And he finally gets one away. That one finally just gets away from him.
So Piazza charged with a pass ball. And 2 wild pitches and a pass ball now. And Orsulak takes a strike. Orsulak has been very successful against Candiotti. He came into this game hitting .474, 18 out of 38 against him. He has Mlicki at second with 1 out. And there's a strike. 1 and 2.
We talk about the difficulty in hitting a knuckleball and catching it. It's also very difficult to call pitches on a knuckleball because it looks like it's in one spot and all of a sudden it moves someplace else. So it's tough not only for the catcher and the hitter, but also for the umpire.
Orsulak wasn't very happy about that last call. He thought it was high. And is out on strikes. First strikeout for Candiotti in the second out in the third. And it really does change the situation for a hitter to be 1-2 as opposed to 2-1.
Especially against a knuckleball pitcher. When a knuckleball pitcher has 2 strikes on you, he will usually give you his best knuckleball. And he usually throws it a little harder, and it'll move a little bit more.
Here's Jose Vizcaino. He fouled out to third his first time. And the pitch is upstairs, ball 1.
A lot of different theories on hitters trying to handle knuckleballs. One is that you try to hit the first one you see because he's trying to throw it for a strike. And if he gets you 2 strikes, as I said, he throws it a little harder and it moves a little bit more.
1-1.
People used to say that about Phil Niekro. Hit the first one because he's trying to throw a strike with it. I never found that to be true, but I heard that on a few occasions.
A lot of theories about approaching a knuckleball pitcher. And a foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there's some hitters who just refuse. You're talking about catchers refusing to catch him. There's some hitters that say, I don't want any part of a knuckleball pitcher because he'll mess up my swing for the next 2 weeks.
And that is the risk that you always run when you face a knuckleball pitcher. He can put you in a slump.
Vizcaino behind in the count. Did he make contact or not? Nope. And he did not offer. So the count goes to 2-2.
That was one of those awesome knuckleballs. The bottom just fell out. I don't even know how Piazza called it. Watch this pitch. No one knows where it is. Look at this pitch. I mean, Piazza just fights it coming down. I mean, he catches it with his glove pointing down almost.
The 2-2. And strike 3 is called by Lane to retire the side. We're headed into the bottom of inning 3. The Dodgers have a run. The Mets have none. The big play of the night. It's early and a long way to go.
Well, the first pitch was a key pitch. Inside a breaking ball away. Now watch where the catcher sets up. Outside, but look at the umpire. He never moved. Nice call there by the umpire. He stayed in his position. What was happening was Staats was moving off the plate trying to get a ways to pitch. And then he was going to come back with a breaking ball. But Mlicki threw a ball that tailed back over the plate, and that's good umpiring not to move out there with the catcher. You know, you have a tendency to look out there because the catcher moves out there. But that ball moved back over the corner for strike 3, and you could tell it was a good pitch because Piazza just turned and walked away.
And Eric Karros leads off the bottom of the third for the Dodgers. The first pitch is in there for a strike. So the Dodgers, who've had scoring opportunities in each of the first 2 innings and a big scoring opportunity in the second, have settled for just 1 run. We'll see how Mlicki responds here in the third. A chopper foul, and he's out in front of Karros, 0-2. Karros doubled up the left field line his first time. Mlicki strikes him out. Third strikeout for Mlicki. 1 gone here in the third. Coming up Sunday night, the game of the week, the Kansas City Royals and the Texas Rangers. That'll be at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. A key game in the American League's wild card race. Those in Texas and Chicago will see the Blue Jays and the White Sox. There's the American League wild card race. Texas by just a half game over Kansas City, Milwaukee, and Seattle. Mondesi. Rolling one foul, strike one.
Let me take you back for a second. The pitch that he struck Karros out on was a pitch that he wanted him to throw to Piazza, but the ball moved back out over the plate. So that was good pitch calling there by Staats. I mean, he wanted to waste one, and Karros chased it. That's exactly why you throw it. You try to get a guy to chase it when you're ahead 0-2. And if he gets ahead of Mondesi, he will try to get him to chase a pitch as he did in his first at bat.
And he's in for strike two, so he's been in front of each of the last three hitters, Piazza, Karros, and now Mondesi.
See how this is exactly the way he set up to Piazza, remember? Now he throws this one out there, and he gets Karros to wave at it. That's exactly what he's actually trying to do to Piazza, but he got a better pitch from Mlicki than he wanted, actually.
He's out there to Mondesi off the plate as Mondesi takes it for a ball, 1-2.
And remember, you got Mondesi to chase the breaking ball the first time up. That same pitch would be a good pitch right now. Well, that's an even better pitch.
He comes inside and gets him looking. I'll tell you, these last three hitters, Mlicki's having a lot of fun out there. It's really been a clinic of sort through the middle part of this Dodger order.
Well, he comes back inside with a good fastball. If you watch Mlicki, you can tell that this guy has a chance of being a very good pitcher if he can keep the ball down. And Mondesi was upset. He thought the ball was inside.
Now Delino to Shields, and he takes a strike.
Well, it seems like since the pitching coach went out there and talked to him, he's thrown nothing but strikes.
Yep.
He was struggling before that, so it may have been a mechanical problem that he saw from the bench and was able to straighten him out.
And the ball, and the count is 1-1. And he's thrown some quality strikes. We're talking about working the corners. And struck out Piazza, Karros, and Mondesi since that visit. 2 balls, 1 strike to count to Delino de Shields. Now he's behind de Shields, 3-1.
Staats has done a pretty good job of trying to make him work, move the ball around, in, out, up, and down.
10th foul. So the count goes to 3-2. Mlicki's coming off 2 pretty good outings. And one thing, as we mentioned earlier, he has given the Mets consistently, he has pitched deep into games, at least 6 innings. And the last couple times out, 2 wins over the Dodgers and the Padres, he's gone better than 7. That's foul outside the bag. He worked 7 2/3 in his last outing against the Padres and won 5-4. Mike Bush all alone in that Dodger dugout.
If we didn't set the stage, he is the replacement player that they called up to replace Tim Wallach.
There is ball 4.
And like the Houston Astros, a lot of the Dodger players are not happy with the fact that they brought up a replacement player during a pennant race.
And the Dodger comments have been, as we take a peek at Fred Clare on the right there, the Dodger GM, they have been vocal about their dissatisfaction with the addition of Bush. They've also said that they're professional and they have to go about trying to win. But as much as they might talk about blocking that out, it's still a presence.
Well, it's definitely a presence because I was in the Dodger locker room before the ball game today, and there's a definite difference. You know, there's concern about how much this is going to affect each player. And if it's, the real problem is if you have guys who are on Bush's side and guys who are on the opposite side, then you split the clubhouse. And that's an even more dangerous situation. And it's unfair, as I said earlier, that Brett Butler has been branded as a guy who makes the statement, say we did not, we're not happy with the replacement player. A lot of guys here are not happy with him. He just happened to be the guy, I guess, they talked to first or whatever. And then again, the guys are trying to put the best spin on it by saying, hey, we're here to try to play baseball and to try to win. And that's the way to do it, except the fact still remains that they're human beings. And you have human emotions, you have human feelings, and you can't separate those from the fact that you are supposed to be a professional baseball player. those things concern you because your livelihood is at stake, and it was at stake during the strike
and
or
it's
the lockout.
Not
whatever.
settled at this point either. So who knows what the future will hold? You hear positive things might be coming along quietly, but you don't know that for sure, and you don't know what's going to happen down the road. And so that leads to some uncertainty in all phases of the game. 1-1 the count to Dave Hansen, who's in there starting at third tonight. Pitch out, but nothing doing with the Shields at first. The count is 2-1. Fred Clare said that with Wallach going out, they had to look at who was available and who could best serve their club in terms of talent, and so that's why they recalled Bush. And the players had a meeting yesterday in the clubhouse to express their displeasure and perhaps try to talk the Dodgers into changing their mind about that, but Bush is here. There's a strike, and the count is 2-2, and it was even suggested that last night, dropping that game 4-3, that all of the brouhaha about Bush being here was a distraction, and that might have cost them their game because their attention was divided. 2-2 the count. All three, and a nice pick right there by Staats. The count goes to 3-2.
And again, some people are concerned. The players say, well, there is not an agreement. What happens if there is a strike again next year? Would this guy be back out there as a replacement player, or would he be supporting us? So those are the things that the players runs through the players' minds.
Full count. And strike three called on the outside edge. Hansen trying to coax the walk, but nothing doing. 3 strikeouts in the inning. We're through 3, 1-0 LA. Dodgers leading as we go into the top of the 4th inning. Dave Hansen at third base, and he's there because Tim Wallach is out with a tear, a ligament tear in his knee. It came on this play.
Well, he lost track of where he was. I mean, he just ran full bore into that tarp, and his knee hit the tarp, and he's going to be out for the season. I mean, he just lost track of where he was, and that's unfortunate, but Dave Hansen is now playing third, and that's the reason they brought up Mike Bush from the minor leagues, the replacement player.
Here's Carl Everett leading off, and a one-hopper down to first, picked by Karros, and he'll make the play unassisted. Everett hit the ball hard on one hop, and Karros made the play.
Dwayne, we talked about the Dodgers defense, but they do make some good plays sometimes. It's a very fine play there by Karros. That's a reaction play. And most people believe the reason that Offerman has 30 errors is he's a good athlete. He makes a lot of great plays, but he messes up a lot of routine plays. When he can just react, he does a good job. But when he has time to think about it, is when he makes most of his mistakes.
The Dodgers have made 106 errors. They've made more errors than anybody else in the major leagues. Jeff Kent takes the ball. As a matter of fact, these two teams, the Dodgers and the Mets, have made more errors than any other teams in baseball. The Mets have been charged with 98 coming into this one, more than anybody else even in the American League. And the Dodgers 106 errors total starting play tonight.
There are a lot of people who will tell you that pitching is 80% of the game, and that stands up very well for the Dodgers.
1-2 the count to Jeff Kent.
Because we showed you they're 8th in the league in runs, or 13th, I'm sorry, in runs, or 8th in home runs, and so forth and so on. Yet they're leading their division, and it's simply because their pitchers have been able to cover up a lot of the other deficiencies.
1-2 the count on Kent. It's a tap up the third base side, rolling foul, holding the count at 1-2. Well, they are in first place in the Western Division by a half game at the moment over Colorado. And you wonder what their situation would be if they were a better defensive club. Matter of fact, it was Tim Wallach who said earlier this year, he says, I'm afraid we're not going to win this thing if our defensive play doesn't somehow improve.
And I have always felt that playing good defense is really a matter of concentrating. If you concentrate as hard in the field as you do at bat, then you can usually become a good player. because the qualities that it takes to be a good hitter are the same qualities that it takes to be a good defensive player.
And Kent is out on strikes.
Foul.
Nope, he just got a piece of it, so it's a foul ball.
And that got a piece of Piazza. And I think it got him on the right hand. See him sitting there wiggling his fingers. It definitely got a piece of him. Out comes Bill Bueller.
He's not tough enough trying to catch the knuckleball. Now that foul ball that caught part of his hand. So the Dodgers tending to Piazza, and Piazza talked with us earlier today about the Dodger defensive setup and how it might get better.
We know we have weaknesses, as do other ball clubs, and there's no question about it that our defense is one of our weaknesses. But on the same note, at this point in the year, there's really not much we can do right now to rectify that situation. We're going to go with the guys that got us to this point. And as long as you're out there and doing the best that you possibly can, then there's no one that can criticize you.
And that's a good way to look at it. I mean, we have the players we have, and we're going to have to play with them. We get a look here at one of the reasons the Dodgers have been thinking about trying to find another place for Piazza to play. Let's face it, if you get too many foul tips off your fingers, that actually looks like it didn't get him on his fingers. Looks like it gets him in the groin. Yes, it does.
That could be a problem as well.
Yeah, well, he was shaking his fingers like it got him in the fingers, but
Kent waves and misses on this one, so he is out on strikes for the second out here in the fourth. 2 men out.
Well,
you get hit in the groin, you can shake anything you want.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it makes you shake other parts. Huh? But the point I was trying to make was that, you know, catching takes its toll on any player, and they're trying to find a way that his bat will stay productive for the next 10 or 12 years. But if you catch all those games, you're going to wear down. Foul tips off your groin, in your groin, and also foul tips off your fingers are going, will take its toll, and it will bother your hitting eventually.
There's a foul ball by Brogna, and the count is 1-1 on the New York first baseman Rico Brogna. 2 outs, a ground ball, and a strikeout in the fourth against Tom Candiotti. And it goes to 2-1. The only run of the game came on a bases-loaded walk in the second inning. The walk drawn by Offerman. The Dodgers had chances early. And a little tap right back to Candiotti, who makes the easy play. The Caras to retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. Bottom of inning 4 coming. 1-0 LA.
Back on Wednesday Night Baseball, our Kellogg's K-Factor, the leaders in the National League. Hideo Nomo of the Dodgers, he will pitch tomorrow night, as will Randy Johnson of the Mariners. As the Mariners try to get back at the Red Sox, they lose by 1 tonight. Nomo and Johnson tomorrow night. Check out baseball tonight at midnight Eastern tomorrow night for highlights. Back to you.
And here in L.A., Chad Fonville leads off, taking the first pitch for a strike. 1-0, the Dodgers lead. Nomo will be looking for his 11th win of the year. He's 10-5 as he faces Dave Tailgater tomorrow. Tap to the right side. Nobody's covering first. A late start over there by Mlicki, and everybody is safe. Fonville aboard for the second time, and Mlicki got a late start trying to cover first. So Fonville has himself a base hit.
Well, Fonville, as I said before, runs very well. It's a chopper.
Candiotti.
Brogna goes to get it. Now, there's no way, you see, Fonville just slows down. There's no way that Mlicki can get over there after the late break. Even though Brogna bobbled the ball, he was still not going to be able to get Fonville at first base.
So the Dodgers have some speed at first base for Tom Candiotti, the pitcher. Fonville back in. Candiotti up there in another bunting situation. He tried to put down a sacrifice in the second inning and reached on what turned out to be a fielder's choice. There goes Fonville running, and the pitch is bunted foul. So the Dodgers start the base runner.
Well, I'm not so sure that was a bunt and run. I think Fonville just thought he had a good jump. Yeah, it is. See, Lasorda's not happy that he went ahead and bunted the ball. Fonville had a good jump, and they would have liked to have seen Candiotti take it. We get a look from first base, ground level.
Candiotti pops this one up and is out. So for the second straight time, he is not able to put down the sacrifice bunt. Fouls out this time. Still at first, Fonville. Reminder, Friday night, ESPN presents Arena Bowl 9 at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Orlando and Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Storm trying to win number 3 in the Arena Bowl championship this decade. That's from the Thunderdome. Friday night, 8:30, Arena Bowl 9, the Orlando Predators and the Tampa Bay Storm.
Well, the boos are getting louder each time Brett Butler comes to the plate, actually. And Butler says he's going to stop talking because he feels like maybe some of the things he has said was interpreted improperly. And he says, now I'm just going to talk about the baseball game, nothing else.
He's at the plate with Fonville at first. And Butler shows the bunt and takes the pitch for a ball. Butler has singled and walked so far tonight. 38-year-old center fielder back here with the Dodgers and gives them an added dimension at the top of the order. As you know, he can handle the bat. An excellent bunter. Good on-base percentage. Fonville back in at first base.
Dwayne, you know, I hate to hear Brett say he's not going to talk about things and whatever, and I understand his position, but I don't like that because Brett Butler's a guy, he has a right to his opinion, and I don't think he should be stifled or anyone else.
Fonville starts and stops, and a ground ball through the middle. Fonville makes the turn, but he'll hold right there as Thompson charged the ball in center and comes up with it. So a base hit. Butler's on for the 3rd straight time in this game.
Well, Butler's responding very well to the boos, but he thinks that Fonville starts, then he stops, and he grounded right up the middle for a base hit. And the reason Fonville wasn't able to go to third, they play shallow on Butler, and also the fact that he had taken a break and then now he stops. See, now that means his momentum's going back toward first base, and he has to turn and go forward. So he's only able to go to second base on the play.
So the Dodgers with 2 men on. They've had a lot of base runners tonight. They've had runners in every inning. And here's Offerman, who has the only run batted in. That came on a bases loaded walk. He was out trying to bunt his first time. Ball 1 down. 1-0. Dodgers leading. 2 men on base with 1 out in the 4th. The Dodgers have had 19 men come to the plate. They have 6 hits and 3 walks. Out of that, only 1 run. And a line drive base hit into right. Everett up with the ball. They are holding Fonville at third. Everett, who has 7 assists, got to the ball quickly. And Fonville is held at third.
Well, Everett has a very good arm, so they wisely held him up. And they're also playing shallow and right. This is a line drive. Now watch, Everett charges the ball very well. You see Fonville at second base. He gets a good break, but Everett gets it on 1 hop, and he releases it. And you can see Amalfitano making sure that Fonville holds up at third base. And that's for 2 reasons. He wants to give Piazza 1 more shot with the bases loaded.
Yep, they are loaded for Piazza again. Piazza was up in the 2nd inning with the bases loaded, and Mlicki made 3 great pitches to get him. Now up again in the 4th inning with the bases loaded. And he starts him with a strike.
Well, the first pitch was the most important pitch in the last at bat. And I believe the first pitch again would be the most important because he got ahead with a strike. Now he has an opportunity now to go inside again if he wants, or to paint the outside corner. So that first pitch was very important. That's where he wants to go, inside, and if you can get it up, the you're even better off.
Boy, to this point, Mlicki, facing Piazza with the bases loaded, has done nothing but make 5 good pitches in a row.
Well, so far, he has been able to rise to the occasion, and that is the pitching to the player of the week in the National League and the guy who's the hottest. But he still has to do it one more pitch.
2 strikes the count. Here it is. Piazza stays alive. That pitch coming in on him, and he fouls it up the right side.
Not the pitch that he wanted to make, because it was a breaking ball that got over the middle of the plate. Staats was set up way outside. He wanted it to be a waste pitch, try to get Piazza to chase it, but he actually got it over the plate.
Piazza with a 10-game hitting streak. Coming into this game, he was 19 of his last 42. 452 with 8 home runs. Away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Been a frustrating night for the Dodgers and their manager, Tommy Lasorda. So far, they've settled for only 1 run. They've had opportunities, but just 1 run so far. And Piazza is out on strikes. Another big strikeout for Mlicki of Piazza.
Well, you can't say enough about this guy. He goes inside. Again, I believe you're better off staying in. See how slow his bat is. I don't mean that literally, but his bat is slower on the pitches in than they are out over the plate. But you have to be able to get the ball in there. You can't make mistakes. And so far, Mlicki has not made any mistakes with Piazza. I mean, excellent pitching. Away, in, away. He's moving the ball back and forth, which is great.
Eric Karros now. And Karros, who struck out in the 3rd inning on a similar pitch, has a weak swing at that one for strike 1.
The better the hitter, the more you have to concentrate with the bases loaded. And see, Tommy, again, the first pitch is always very important with a bases loaded situation.
Blocked by Staats.
It's important because the pitcher misses with the first pitch. The hitter can zone in and say, well, he's got to throw me a strike now. He doesn't want to fall behind 2-0, so he figures he's going to get a better pitch. But if you fall behind, then obviously that advantage is lost if you're the hitter.
A ball and a strike to count to Karros. This one catches the edge. It swept the plate, caught the corner and around the knees. And Mlicki has the jump on Karros, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, I tell you, he's been on the edge of the cliff all night.
Yeah, he hasn't fallen over yet.
Not yet. The 1-2. And a ground ball to short. He should be out of it. Down to Kent from Vizcaino, and that retires the side. The Dodgers leave him loaded. 2-4, 1-0 Los Angeles. This is a 1-0 ball game, but it is as we go into the top of the 5th. The Dodgers leading the Mets. And Ryan Thompson leads off, facing the knuckleball right-hander Tom Candiotti. There's ball 1. Dave Mlicki's had Dallas Green on the edge of his seat all night. The Dodgers have stranded 9 through 4. Deep of 3rd, foul ball. The count is 1-1.
Mlicki seems to do his best pitching when he gets in trouble. Maybe he doesn't concentrate as hard when he's not in trouble. But once he gets in trouble, I tell you what, he's been able to make some quality pitches here tonight. There's Dallas Green, who knows about pitching in jams.
The count is 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. When Dallas first started his career, he could throw hard.
Yes.
And an arm injury cost him a lot of velocity, so he had to make the adjustment. Into right center field. Mondesi on the move. That's going to be over his head. 1 hop and to the wall. Ryan Thompson's on his way to second with a leadoff double. A man at second, nobody out. Let's go to Carl Ravitch.
Dwayne, thanks very much. Blue Jays and Indians, bottom of the 14th. It's tied until Albert Bell takes the Tony Castillo pitch out. For the 23rd time, the Indians win a game in their last at-bat. They actually scored 2 in the bottom half of the 14th. Took 5 hours to complete this game. Dwayne?
All right, thank you, Carl. And the Indians' lead in the American League Central is only 21 and a half games. Wow.
With about 32 to play, right?
That's right. Here's Butch Husky. Tapping one foul, strike one. With a double by Thompson. Just the second hit tonight by the Mets. The Dodgers have 7. Husky grounded to short his first time.
You mentioned how much Husky has spread out since he's gone back to the minor leagues. Well, first of all, if you're going to hit from a spread position, you have to be very strong, and he looks like he's strong.
0-2.
Because if you hit from a big spread position, you really do not get enough legs into it to help your bat speed. So when you spread out like that, you're really hitting with your upper body, and you have to be strong to do that.
He chose baseball over football. Oklahoma wanted him as a linebacker. Ground ball, shortstop, and it gets away from Offerman. Thompson turns and comes home with a run, and stopping at first is Husky. So the Mets are on the scoreboard here to tie the game. Thompson scores from second. Offerman appeared to be ready to come up with that ball, and it skipped by him for an error. His 31st of the year.
Well, he played this into an error. He actually ran away from the ball until he got a bad hop. And watch, he takes an angle away from it. See where he's running? He's running away from first base. And he ran away from it until he got the bad hop. If he would have cut across, I think he would have been able to make the play. He would have been able to read the hop better. But when you run away from the ball, you're asking for a bad hop.
Offerman's 31st error. The first pitch to Stinnett. Misses ball 1. Cordero has 17. He's the closest shortstop in total errors to Offerman's 31. Nobody out with a man at first, a run home to tie the game. Upstairs, 2-0. 107 errors committed by the Dodgers this year, the most in the major leagues. Stinnett thrown out on a good play by Hansen, his first time up. And this one drops over for a strike. It's 2-1.
Thinking of the Dodger defense reminds me of a story Tom Seaver told me once. He said the Mets defense was pretty bad in his early days. He said, not only did I have to keep the score down, but I had to pitch so that every ground ball was hit to shortstop. He said Bud Harrelson was the only dependable person he had. He said that's how difficult it was pitching for the Mets in the early days.
A lot of 6-3s and a lot of Ks.
A lot of Ks and 6-3. That's what you wanted, he said. And so, again, that has to be difficult to pitch to hitters knowing that the Dodgers are not a good defensive team. Knowing that you do not have good defense behind you there, you get a number look at the 70 unearned runs. So it's kind of and we keep belaboring the point, but in baseball, to be a championship team, usually, you know, as Errol Weaver would say, pitching, defense, and the 3-run homer will win you a lot of championships. Well, pitching and defense will win you a lot of championships as well, and you can scratch for the other runs. And the Dodgers are doing it the other way. They're not playing good defense. They still have good pitching, though.
2 balls and a strike to count to Stinnett. And a strike is called to square the count at 2-2. And Joe, it's especially critical when you've allowed 70 unearned runs and you're 13th in runs scored.
Right.
I mean, it's especially critical then.
And let's remember one thing. Every error is not scored as an error. Every mistake is not an error. They make mistakes defensively that do not show up in the box score as errors.
And a base hit into center field. Husky stops at second. Stinnett waiting and punched it through into center. So the first 3 men have reached base in the 5th inning. 2 hits and an error sandwiched in between.
Game.
And the Mets pitcher, Dave Mlicki, will bat. Dodgers will talk it over on the mound. Reminder, coming up next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. See Cal Ripken make baseball history. Lou Gehrig played in 2,130 consecutive games. Ripken needs 6 to tie, and his 7th. Don't miss it, coming up next Wednesday on ESPN. Ripken, a big day next Wednesday. Nobody out here in the 5th. Mlicki at the plate.
We'll see if the Dodgers use a rotation play in this situation. Yes, they were faking it anyway. Well, somebody they made another mistake. That was supposed to be a pickoff, which means that when Offerman took off for short third base, DeShields was supposed to break for second, and he didn't break for second. So the rotation play works a couple of ways. The third baseman charges from third, the shortstop charges over to third base, and the second baseman will go to first base normally unless there's a pickoff. And now you see Candiotti saying, well, what happened here? DeShields was supposed to go to second. I read that as a pickoff. And DeShields goes in to say, I didn't read it as a pickoff, so someone wants to know. Now watch, Offerman takes off. What that is, a fake. He's supposed to whirl and throw to DeShields at second base. But obviously DeShields was not there. And so they had to get their heads together to make sure they had to play plan right for this pitch.
We saw Tommy Lasorda. He has to be about as frustrated as any manager with a team in first place.
Yes. And the fans here are frustrated with him as well.
Now Mlicki trying to put down the bunt. Karras with a pickup, looks to third, but he'll have to go to DeShields covering first. So Mlicki puts down his 7th sacrifice of the year, with Karras making the pickup, 3-4 if you're scoring. And now the Mets have both men in scoring position.
Good bunt here by Mlicki, and remember, Candiotti has failed in 2 bunt attempts, but this is perfect. He deadens it right out in front of the plate. Nothing that the Dodgers could do except make a play to first base, and they retire Mlicki.
So with 2 men in scoring position in a tie game, the Mets now have Joe Orsulak coming up, and they'd as soon have him up there as anybody. Orsulak said he moves up in the batter's box, Joe, and actually against the knuckleball tries to hit the ball not up the middle, but toward the shortstop.
Well, I agree with the first part. Moving closer to the pitcher obviously gives the ball less time to dance, and you won't get fooled so much by the speed.
And a swing and a miss. Strike one. He says one of the things he does, he said he realized against the knuckleball when he moved up, when he hit the ball well, he was pulling the ball foul out of play a lot. And so he started to try to shoot the ball through the left side as opposed to maybe up the middle. Just a little bit of adjustment and approach, and he got a few base hits up the middle that way.
Well, I mean, of course, every hitter has to go with what he thinks is his strength, and that actually works. But one other thing that happens, if you move up in the batter's box closer to the pitcher, what that does is it means your bat will always be in fair territory anytime you hit the ball. You know, if you're standing deep in the batter's box, when you swing, your bat is definitely out of fair territory when you start it and also at the end. So what it does is it keeps more balls fair for you if you stand up in front of the batter's box.
And a foul ball up the right side. So the count moves out to a ball, 2 strikes. Husky at third, and Stinnett, the runner at second base for the Mets. Mets have scored a run as a result of the Offerman error here in the 5th, and that has tied the game at 1. Orsulak behind in the count, and he is out on strikes. So Orsulak is the second out of the inning, 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, I hate to say this, but it doesn't look like he follows his own advice. Watch, he's pulling this ball. So he's trying to pull that pitch. He wasn't going the other way. If he would have gone the other way, it may have made contact. But watch this. Everything is a pull here.
Yep.
That's a pull swing, as was the one he hit foul down the first baseline. I mean, his approach may be to go back to the middle, but he changes about halfway through the swing.
Here's Vizcaino. The pitch is inside, ball 1. Well, that might be the reason he's 0 for 3 tonight against Candiotti instead of coming into this game hitting .474 against him.
Well, he's definitely not trying. Well, I shouldn't say he's not trying to go back through the middle, but his approach is not taking him back through the middle.
One ball, one strike. Now the Mets with men in scoring position trying to do some damage. It's been a frustrating night for the Dodgers in that regard. Through 4 innings, they've left 9 men on base. And now the Mets have 2 men in scoring position. It's going to take a 2-out hit. And there it is, a base hit into right. 1 man is in. Here comes another man. He will score, and down to second base goes Vizcaino. Husky and Staats score to make it 3-1 as Vizcaino winds up at second, an RBI single and a move up on the throw.
Well, you mentioned the fact that Vizcaino has had a very good year for the New York Mets, and he does a good job here. He waits on it and uses his hands and pulls the ball into the hole to right field. Now, Mondesi has a shot here, but his throw is off target, way offline, in fact. Piazza has to bobble it, and by the time he threw a second base, too late to get Vizcaino.
Well, Vizcaino now with 49 runs batted in, and here's Carl Everett. The pitch is in there for a strike. Vizcaino continues his trend. Matter of fact, Dallas Green said Vizcaino might be the MVP on this club this year. He came into the game hitting .283, but around .350 with runners on. And he just drove in 2 with that base hit to right.
And remember one thing, he should not have even batted this inning. Orsulak should have been the 3rd out of the inning. It was prolonged by the fact that Offerman made his 31st error of the season. So these 2 runs are not earned. 3 runs are not earned. Well, yeah, 2 of them are not earned anyway.
There's a foul ball. Everett behind on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dodgers have action in the bullpen. The right-hander Estacio starts to throw. We're in the 5th. Everett hit the ball sharply his last time, and it was Karros at first who made a good play on that ball. This is foul out of play. The Mets have been encouraged by the progress Everett has made after a lackluster start with the Mets his first time around. He's come back from the minor leagues and has given them a little punch, and they think he's been a little more selective than he was earlier. Foul ball, holding the count of the ball, 2 strikes. The Mets have taken the lead 3-1. You see 4 of those 10 home runs for Everett have come recently. This is a different ball club than the one Dallas Green started the year with. 2-2. Gone are the veterans. Saberhagen gone. Bonilla gone. Segui gone.
And that's interesting. They have played better since those guys have left. It's not to say that they're a better team without them, but they have played better.
And a wave and a miss. Everett is out on strikes to retire the side. A 3-run inning for the Mets, and we'll go into the bottom of inning 5 from Dodger Stadium. The Mets have taken the lead. New York 3, LA 1. Well, the Dodgers come into bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. They are trailing 3-1, and it was the Dodger defense that let them down in the top of the 5th inning, giving the Mets the opportunity, and the Mets cashed in. Now, Raul Mondesi leads off the bottom of the 5th inning, facing Dave Mlicki, who has frustrated the Dodgers tonight with his tightrope walking act. This one is fouled by Mondesi. Mondesi's 0 for 2, a couple strikeouts. Mlicki has 6 strikeouts. He's given up 7 hits, 3 walks, and only 1 run out of all that, stranding 9 Dodgers through 4 innings. This will be his 80th pitch of the night coming. And the count goes to 1-1. Mondesi leading off. He'll be followed by DeShields and then Hansen. Two balls and a strike. There's his breakdown. 7 strikeouts, a little over 80 pitches now to go with those 3 walks. Pop foul. That's going to carry out of play and will square the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mlicki has recorded those strikeouts when he needed them. He got Mondesi swinging in the first, leaving 2 men in scoring position. They got Piazza on strikes to leave the bases loaded in the second. Struck out the side in the third. Sandwiched around a 2-out walk. There's ball 3, and then he got the big strikeout of Piazza again in the 4th inning with the bases loaded in 1 out before he got the ground ball from Karros. Now a full count. Leading off the 5th with Mondesi in the batter's box. And a fly ball into center. Ryan Thompson with a lot of room out there makes the catch for the out. 1 out here in L.A. Let's check in with Carl.
Dwayne, the Rockies win, so the Dodgers back very much in the wild card race. One team behind them, Houston, and Houston should get this guy back on Friday, Jeff Bagwell. But look what happened tonight in Jackson, Mississippi. Hit by a pitch, not on the broken hand, but the leg. He came out of the game. He is okay. 0 for 8 down there with 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Bagwell expected back on Friday. Dwayne?
Well, that's all Houston would need. The Astros have won 2 in a row after dropping 11 straight. They can't get Bagwell to return to their lineup soon enough. DeShields takes a strike. Colorado up by a half game in the wild card race now with Philadelphia a full game back. At one point, the Astros were in pretty good shape in that wild card race, but not after that losing streak.
Well, they were in great shape. I mean, before they were only 3.5 games behind the Reds in the division race.
A ball, and the count is 1-2. Dave Mlicki, 27 years old. And a popper short center. Out from shortstop goes Vizcaíno, and he makes a nice play.
Tell you what, he can play.
Yes, he
I've
can.
seen him a lot this year, and I tell you what, he can play. And he's going to get a little better because he's gaining more and more confidence, you know, as the season goes along. And I mean, he makes all the plays. He's been a good hitter. He's been a clutch performer. This is a very good play. This is a much more difficult play than it appeared on your screen. I mean, he had to go a long way for that ball, and he didn't have long to get there. That's an excellent play there by Vizcaíno.
So 2 outs with the bases empty. Vizcaíno with a big hit on the top of the inning and an outstanding defensive play in the bottom of the 5th. Dave Hansen, who made a nice play at third base for the Dodgers earlier tonight, has a count of 1 ball, no strikes. Down to first, and that's a foul ball, says Dana Demuth. Just foul outside of first, as Hansen made a bid for a possible extra base hit.
I made an observation a while back with the Mets, you know, a personal observation. That was that in a year and a half, these guys were going to be contenders. And watching them the last couple of weeks, I see nothing to change my mind. I think they're going to be a good team.
Ground ball to second. Kent has this one. And the throw to first. A 1-2-3 inning for Mlicki. We're through 5 with the Mets leading the Dodgers 3-1. 3-1 as we move into the 6th inning at Dodger Stadium. Reminder, college football is back tomorrow night on ESPN. Defending champion Nebraska takes on the Big 8 rival Oklahoma State. Heisman candidate Tommy Frazier back to lead the Cornhuskers in their bid to win back-to-back national championships. Action kicks off with the Russell Athletic Weekend Kickoff Show at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN. And tonight at Dodger Stadium, we head into the 6th inning. The Mets scored 3 in the top of the 5th to grab the lead. And Jeff Kent, their cleanup hitter, will open the 6th inning against Tom Candiotti. Kent, Brogna, and Thompson for the Mets. Kent has a 1-for-2 night going. And sends this one high and deep to center. Butler back just in front of the track, and he makes the catch for the out. So Kent, who picked up his 15th home run of the year last night, hit this one deep to center, but not quite deep enough.
Rico Brogna.
1 out in the 6th. And now Rico Brogna. Brogna 0-for-2 tonight. Inside, ball 1, and he's one of these fellows. He's just 25, as we spoke of earlier. He's one of these hitters whose big league numbers so far are actually better than his minor league numbers. He gets hold of this one and sends it deep to right, and that baby is gone. Rico Brogna hits his 16th home run of the year, and the Mets now have a 4-1 lead. A 1-0 pitch, and Brogna hits it out.
Well, when you look at this ball club, Vizcaíno, Kent, Brogna, Thompson, and players like that, you realize, and Huntley, who is not playing tonight, you realize that they do have the makings of a good ball club. Brogna takes this knuckleball, and there's no doubt about it. As soon as he hangs it, hits it, he knows that it's gone, and so did Mondesi. You see Mondesi gives up on it quite early.
A home run by Brogna, the 14th given up by Candiotti this year. First pitch to Thompson is in there for a strike.
And as you mentioned, Brogna, before they brought him up, he was just an average player in the minor leagues. And as you mentioned, he's been better in the big leagues.
And another strike to Thompson. Yeah, Brogna, I think his minor league career average in the minor leagues, a little over 250. Need a strike. So Thompson doesn't hang around very long. Out on 3 pitches, and the second out in the 6th. And Brogna, who came into this game hitting .295 for the year, has pushed the 300 mark for his big league career average. Been limited at bats, to be sure, but that's a 50-point spread. Here's Husky. Butch Husky. Cut and a miss, strike 1. He tips the scale somewhere in the neighborhood of 240. And they say a year ago he reported to camp up around 270 maybe.
So he went from a linebacker to a defensive tackle, huh?
That's right. High pop foul. That's going to carry out of play. Well, that was one of the concerns they had about him, was his weight, and they thought because of that he may have gone from the prospect to the suspect category, but he's back very much a prospect now after putting together a good year at Norfolk. Candiotti on the verge of hitting the century mark for pitches tonight. 4 runs allowed, 2 of which have been earned. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count on Butch Husky. Lasorda pacing in that Dodger dugout. 2-2. He had to have that feeling that when they that all of those opportunities early get away from him, that it might come back to haunt him, and so far it has. Base hit through the left side, out of the reach of Offerman. Husky is on for the second time. That's his first hit tonight.
Catcher, number 33.
You know, this has been pretty much
Staats.
representative of the Dodgers' frustration all year in the microcosm of this game.
Yes.
Leaving men on base, misscoring opportunities, and then the error that set up a couple of those runs to score in the fifth.
No, you're correct. I mean, being honest with you, if you watch the Dodgers in a series, it will always show up one way or the other. Sometimes they're able to overcome it just by outscoring the other team or putting enough runs on the board, but they don't do that on a consistent basis either. So you will see it. If you watch a series, you'll see all their shortcomings.
Staats lifting one into deep right center field, and that ball's going to hit off the bottom of the fence. Husky around third on his way to the plate, and he is safe. Into second, Staats, and the Mets pick up another run. It's 5-1. Husky scores from first on the double by Staats.
This pitch just hangs there, and it's going to look at Husky. He got a great jump. See, he knew that ball was in the gap right away. He didn't slow up, didn't wait too long, and they wave him home, and he comes around. DeShields throws to the plate, and it's just a little too late.
14th run batted in for Staats. That's his 7th double, his second hit tonight. So the Mets build a 5-1 lead. Anastasio back up in the bullpen. Candiotti is due to hit second in the bottom of this inning. Now the Mets pitcher, Dave Mlicki, steps in. And it's too high, ball one. Mlicki with that walk and sacrifice bunt. 0-33 on the year with a couple of runs batted in. He waves and misses. So I guess as 0-33 averages go, it's been a productive 0-33 with those 2 RBIs.
About as well as you can do hitting 0-33. You're right. He's gotten the most out of his contact.
Yep. 1-1 the count. That's with a 4-run lead here in the 6th. And a bouncer out to short. Offerman with the throw. Dug out by Karras to retire the side. 2-run score for the Mets. Bottom of the 6th coming. Mets 5, Dodgers 1. Welcome back to Dodger Stadium, where the Mets have taken a 5-1 lead on the Los Angeles Dodgers with Joe Morgan. I'm Dewayne Staats. Well, the Dodgers thought when they looked at the Western Division race, particularly with Colorado, Joe, that they would have a scheduled advantage. They're home on this 9-game stand. That might not work out that way.
Well, they do not play a team that had over 500 record till the last 10 games of the season, so it did look like they were in good shape. And the fact that they got Brett Butler back, a lot of people were conceding the Western Division to him. But I tell you what, the Colorado Rockies, these guys are fighting, and they're staying in the race, and they're not going to let the Dodgers take this easily. The Dodgers are going to have to play better than they've played in the last couple of weeks if they're going to win the West.
Well, the Dodgers opened this 9-game homestand last night, dropping a 4-3 ball game to the New York Mets. Right now, they're trailing 5-1 as we go into the bottom of the 6th inning.
Something seems to be bothering Mondesi there. Bill Bueller, the trainer, was over talking to him, checking him out.
And Chad Fonville heads to the plate to open the bottom of the 6th inning. Candiotti is due to hit second in this inning, and Chris Gwynn has a bat. So it'll be Fonville, then the pinch hitter, and then the top of the order, Butler, in a 5-1 New York lead. Fonville has been on base twice tonight with a couple of hits. And the first pitch misses, ball one. Fonville singled and scored in the 2nd inning, reached on the infield hit in the 4th. Now the count is 1-1. Mlicki retired the Dodgers 1-2-3 in the 5th inning. He got a good play from the shortstop Vizcaino to help him do that. That's his only 1-2-3 inning tonight. Vizcaino out for this one. Orsulak in, and look out. Orsulak makes the catch, and Vizcaino, veering to his right at the last moment, avoided a collision.
Well, as an infielder, when you're going out, you always listen for the outfielder. If the outfielder can catch it coming in, it's an easier play. And so when Orsulak finally calls for it, you'll see Vizcaino get out of his way right there, and Orsulak makes the catch.
Your attention, please. For the Dodgers, now batting for Candiotti.
Now a pinch hitter, Candiotti, will be lifted after working 6 innings, and Gwynn, who had a bat, goes back into the dugout, and Roberto Kelly will pinch hit here for the Dodgers in the 6th inning.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Roberto Kelly has been the odd man out since Fonville has been playing left field and DeShields is back at second. And I'm sure they want to save Gwynn, who is their best pinch hitter with Hanson playing. They're going to save him for the late innings. If Fonville would have reached base, they probably would have let Gwynn hit.
Only 266 for the year, nothing out of 1 as a pinch hitter. And the pitch is a ball. Bottom of the 6th. Too high. 2-0. This is one thing Mlicki has been able to give the Mets fairly consistently this year in his starts. He gives them 6 innings or thereabouts. The last 2 times out is actually pitched into the 8th ball. Kelly pulls away from this one, and that's ball 3.
And of course, if you can take it to the 8th, they still have John Franco, who is one of the top closers in baseball, on the bench.
Mlicki gets the call to make it 3-1. Mlicki has walked 3 tonight. 2 of those came in the 2nd inning and another one in the 3rd. John Cummings loosening in the bullpen for the Dodgers as the count goes to 3-2 on Roberto Kelly. Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles tonight. Game 2 of a 9-game homestand for the Dodgers. Dodgers hoping they could take advantage of this homestand. A base hit into center off the 3-2 pitch. So the Dodgers pick up their 8th hit.
Well, good hitting here by Kelly. The ball's on the inner half of the plate, but he just fights it off the right back up the middle for a base hit. He didn't try to pull it.
Brett Butler on base 3 times tonight. And the reaction to him continues to be mixed. A chorus of boos in the crowd. And each time up when he's reached base, he takes the ball here. A couple of singles and a walk. Those 2 base hits have turned some of those boos into cheers.
And the problem is he is the focus of their attention now, and they're going to take out their frustrations the way that on the Dodgers, on Brett Butler. The fact that the Dodgers are not playing well, they're going to just take out their frustrations on Brett, which is obviously unfair. But who said baseball was fair anyway?
That's right, or life in general. 1 ball, 1 strike. Butler came into this game hitting .300 overall, .311 with the Mets, and .244 with the Dodgers. That includes the 2 hits tonight. 2 balls and a strike. Hits for the Dodgers. They have just 1 run. They've drawn 3 walks and picked up 8 hits. Down to 3rd, and by the drawn-in Husky into left. Kelly stops at 2nd. So with Husky close at 3rd, Butler drills a base hit past him, his third hit tonight. He's on base for the fourth straight time.
Well, with all those fake bunts and foul bunt attempts, you get Husky in so close that he just can't react. I mean, this ball is hit very close to Husky, but he's in so tight he just can't react, so he can't get his glove down in time. But because he bunts a lot, Butler gets that kind of respect at third base. People come in and play very tight.
Now Greg Pavlik, the pitching coach, out to the mound again. Pavlik signed and pitched for the Mets in their minor league system. Now their pitching coach. He's been with this organization 25 years. Well, it worked the last time he went out there in grand fashion. That was back in the second inning with the bases loaded, and Mlicki proceeded to strike out Mike Piazza on 3 pitches to get out of that spot. Now, with 1 out in the 6th inning, he has runners at first and second, and Jose Offerman stepping in. Offerman has reached base twice tonight with a bases loaded walk and a base hit. And the pitch is low and outside for a ball.
It's one thing that's going on in Dallas Green's mind is he does not want to face Piazza again in a crucial situation. So he's thinking past Offerman.
And the pitch is down. 2 balls and no strike. Well, you wonder how many times you can play with fire and not get burned.
You cannot do it very often, that's for sure.
Outs on deck. And ball 3. How about that? 2 men on, 1 out, 3-0 the count to Offerman. So Mlicki's on the verge of loading the bases again for Piazza.
And let's remember 2 things. Mlicki doesn't have as good a stuff now as he probably had the first 2 times he faced Piazza with the bases loaded.
And he walks Offerman, setting the stage. This will be the 3rd time tonight that Piazza has been up there with the bases loaded. Mlicki got him looking in the 2nd inning and got him swinging in the 4th.
Well, Dallas Green has decided that he's not going to let him try it one more time. And I'm being honest with you, I don't blame him.
So Dallas Green out of the dugout has made the move to the bullpen. That's it for Mlicki. We'll take a break with the score 5-1 New York. The Mets have built a 5-1 lead, but the Dodgers again threaten in the bottom of the 6th inning. They have loaded the bases with 1 out. Dave Mlicki is gone in favor of the right-hander Doug Henry, making his 40th appearance with a record of 3-5.
Well, if you're Dallas Green, you wanted a fresh arm in there to face Piazza for 2 reasons. One, Piazza has already had 3 looks at Mlicki tonight. And the fact that Mlicki has thrown a lot of pitches, he was not going to be as effective, he didn't believe. And I think it's a very smart move to go get him.
So the bases are loaded. That's Roberto Kelly. He reached on a pinch hit single. Butler at second. He singled his way on. And Offerman walked to load the bases. And that brought on the pitching change.
You think back to Sunday, Piazza drove in 7 runs on Sunday. He has left 7 runners on base in tonight's ball game. So this game really can frustrate you at times, and you just can't ever get to a point where you feel like you have it mastered.
This is the 3rd time tonight. 3 times in succession he has been up with the bases loaded. And the first pitch, he fouls back. The pitch was up. Henry, by the way, in a little over 49 innings, has been touched for 7 home runs, just in case you're thinking about the long ball.
Well, I don't know if it's by design or they just happen to make the pitches in those spots, but they've been able to get that ball up and in or in on Piazza all day, and I think that's been the key to their success so far. Yes, they're pitching him in.
He got that one in. Pops him up foul. Stinnett, a great effort back, but he runs out of room. Stinnett had a full head of steam trying to make sure he was back there if somehow that ball stayed in play.
Well, they are pitching him inside by design, and that's the way to pitch him. I've always felt the better the hitter, the more you have to keep him honest inside. And you see that he does not handle that ball right there as well as he does the ball out over the plate. But again, it's dangerous to pitch in there because if you do move it out over the plate, he'll hurt you. But it's obvious to me now that the Mets have made an effort to pitch him inside, and that's smart. You have to keep the good hitters honest by going inside. And that will open up the outer part of the plate for you.
So Henry has 2 strikes on Piazza. And strike 3 is called. Piazza out on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. He has left 9 men on base. 3 times tonight he has struck out
10
with the bases loaded. Now 10 because he was up there with a man at 3rd and 1 out in the 1st. So he's left 10 men on base.
Well, right on cue, as I said, that opens up the outside corner for you by pounding him inside. They pounded him inside the first 2 pitches and then right on the outside corner.
Now Karras. And the pitch is too high to him. Ball 1. Well, it shows you how quickly your fortune can change.
Yes.
Piazza drove in 7 runs Sunday against the Phillies on a hot streak, and tonight has stranded 10 men.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone strand 10 men.
Well, how many times have you seen a guy even have that opportunity?
Right.
Come up with the bases loaded 3 times in a row.
Yeah, 3 straight times plus a runner on in the 1st inning. I don't think I've ever seen that. And you wouldn't expect it from Piazza as hot as he has been.
Ground ball headed to short. Vizcaino to Kent for the force play, and the Dodgers continue to frustrate themselves. We are through 6. It's 5-1 New York. Some big spots tonight, and Doug Henry got out of one to again leave the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th.
And that's just a great performance by Henry to come in and get the 4th, the 3rd, and 4th hitters out with the bases loaded and only 1 out.
John Cummings is the new pitcher, 1-1 through 22 appearances and a .277 earned run average. So he takes over in relief of Tom Candiotti, a 26-year-old lefty
Number 41.
out of the Seattle Mariners organization.
And for
the
the Dodgers
Dodgers
now playing right field.
Have left 10,
Number
11,
21.
12 men on base tonight. They're 0 for 5 with the bases loaded.
Kelly.
Roberto Kelly
Number 6.
is headed into right field, so apparently when we saw them looking at Mondesi in the Dodger dugout, there must have been something wrong with Mondesi, because Kelly stays on to play right field now. And the top of the order, Joe Orsulak, is due to lead off for the Mets here in the 7th inning. Orsulak hitless tonight against Candiotti, who worked the front 6. Charged with 5 runs, 3 earned on 7 hits. And a ground ball to short. Now he hits the ball to short. Offerman makes the play.
You're right.
He got the knuckleball right-hander out of there, faces the left-hander, and bounces out to short.
Number 15,
Here's Jose Vizcaino, and he's had a good night for the Mets. A key hit, a base hit in the 5th, driving in 2, and a couple nice plays defensively from shortstop. This one is down, ball 1. His name came up in regard to the California Angels in their search for the shortstop. Apparently there was some interest expressed in Vizcaino, and we can see why watching him play tonight.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that the California or just about anyone else needing a shortstop would want Vizcaino, but the Mets, as they've said to you, is he's probably their most valuable player. There's no way they're going to let him go, because he's the guy you can build around. You need a good shortstop, good center fielder, second baseman, and catcher. You have to be strong up the middle to be a good team.
This one's punched foul down the right side, out of play. And the other trade talk involving these clubs tonight, the Dodgers, there was a lot of speculation about the possibility that the Dodgers might make a deal with the White Sox involving Robin Ventura. But Fred Clare, before the game tonight, said that that wasn't something he expected to happen. Swing and a miss. Vizcaino is out on strikes, the second out in the 7th inning. They would pretty much acknowledge that there was interest as the Dodgers looked for a third baseman to replace the injured Tim Wallach, but not something that they anticipated pulling off.
Well, not only you're looking for a guy to replace Wallach right now, but you have to look to the future. How much longer is Wallach going to play?
Carl Everett, 2 outs, base is empty, and that pitch is a strike on the corner. Cummings is 26 years old. He was rushed to the big leagues with Seattle. 1 ball and 1 strike. He actually in '93 made the jump. He was at Peninsula in '92 and then found himself in the big leagues the next year. 1-1 the count. 2 balls and a strike. He's retired the first 2 to face him in the 7th. Ground ball by the mound. DeShields makes the play to Karras, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Cummings against the Mets. We'll go into the Dodgers half of inning 7 with New York leading 5-1. The Mets have a 5-1 lead on the Dodgers as the Dodgers come into bat in the bottom of the 7th. Coming up Friday night, ESPN presents Arena Bowl 9. That'll be at 8:30 Eastern. The Orlando Predators take on the Tampa Bay Storm as Tampa Bay tries to win its 3rd Arena Bowl championship this decade. That's all from the Thunderdome. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Arena Bowl 9. Pinch hitter opening the bottom of the 7th inning, Rick Parker. Bats for Cummings, who's in the 5th spot. Parker facing Doug Henry. And the count is 2-0. Henry came on to leave the bases loaded, get the final 2 outs in the 6th inning, in relief of Dave Mlicki. Upstairs. The count is 3-0.
Maybe the Mets.
Action in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Pedro Estacio, he was up earlier tonight. There's a strike. 3-1 now. A frustrating night for the Dodgers. They have 9 hits, only 1 run. And the count goes to 3-2. They have left 12 men on base through 6 innings. This one is fouled out of play. 10 of the 12 left on by Mike Piazza, who's just coming off a torrid week in which he won National League Player of the Week honors. 3-2. And it's line foul. He broke his bat. So Parker will have to go back to the dugout for another bat.
I was mentioning earlier that there were articles in the New York paper about Dallas Green remaining and getting an opportunity to manage this ball club now that it's turning around. And I talked to him today and you know, to find out what his feelings were, and he says that he'd like to stay because he can see a light at the end of the tunnel. And he says it can be a big light, too. He thinks that this can be a good ball club.
He had taken some criticism by some of the younger Mets players who are now gone on to other organizations, and there was some question about how he would handle the young players. And it would appear that the young players who have shown up recently, Isringhausen and Pulsifer, who will pitch tomorrow, have had positive things to say about the way Dallas Green has handled them.
Well, he is perceived as a disciplinarian, and there are some young people who do not think that's a good quality in a manager, and then there are others who are looking to become better, and a disciplinarian sometimes can help you to become a better player.
There's ball 4. Parker draws a leadoff walk. So Parker, who got Piazza and Carlos to end the 6th, walks the pinch hitter Parker to open the bottom of the 7th. Bringing along Delino DeShields, the Dodgers' second baseman.
And maybe the Mets are just want to continue to try to walk this tightrope tonight. You have a 5-1 lead. The last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff hitter. But they do that. Now Henry will have to pitch out of a jam.
And he starts DeShields with a strike. Henry last year with the Milwaukee Ball Club had some tendonitis problems in his right shoulder. That curtailed his effectiveness. Stinnett moving down to stay in front of that pitch, and the count is 1-1. Henry's best year with the Brewers, I guess, would be 1992 when he saved 29 games for Milwaukee. 1-1 pitch. And strike 2 is called.
Good changeup there from Henry. That's the first changeup he has thrown since he came into the ball game, and it caught Delino DeShields by surprise because he had not seen one.
We'll take the count out to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mlicki, the pitcher of record for the Mets, pitched 5 1/3. Gave up 9 hits and a run, struck out 7 and walked 4. A 2-2 count, and DeShields is out on strikes. Second strikeout for Henry, and the 9th strikeout for Mets pitching tonight.
Third baseman.
Good high fastball with 2 strikes. This is a quality pitch. Fastball up and away. If you can get the hitter to swing at it, you've got him, because there's nothing he can do with it.
So with 1 on and 1 out, this is Dave Hansen, the third baseman. Hansen takes ball 1 down and in. There's Tim Wallach, who's now unavailable to the Dodgers because of the torn ligament in his knee. So Hansen is in there in his place.
It's actually been a tough year for Wallach. He was injured early and had back problems also this year, and he had a bounce-back season last year. He had an exceptionally good season last year going before the strike, and he expected to have another good season, but it has not worked out that way. Injuries have really curtailed his production this year.
And the strike. Well, he has a torn posterior cruciate ligament in his left knee, and to this point has opted not to have the surgery. We'll see how things progress. This one just misses around the plate, and the count goes to 3-1. One on, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. This one is fouled out of play, so the count goes to 3-2. And you have to figure that eventually, with that type of injury, Wallach will have to have some surgery done on that knee. There are some cases when you can postpone it, maybe rehab it, but boy, they've been far and few between. Runners going, and a foul banking out of play. And you know, I've actually had a couple veteran pitchers tell me that they pitched with an interior cruciate tear and did not have it repaired surgically, and spent the last couple of years of a career playing without surgery.
Well, you can strengthen the areas around the knee, the muscles around the knee, and sometimes that will stabilize the knee for you and help you get through.
Now it moved to first. Parker is back in. He walked to open the bottom of the 7th.
I think we saw him running just because Lasorda wants to change something here. Normally, down 4 runs, you do not run because a line drive, you're out of the inning.
Going again in a ground ball, first base. Brogna makes the play unassisted, and Parker is safely in at second base. That's the second out.
I think Lasorda just wanted to try to make something happen here.
Left fielder.
The Dodgers have not been able to make anything happen on their own, so he just wanted to see if he could get something started. And it did keep him out of a double play, a potential double play anyway.
It has not been a pleasant night for Tommy Lasorda and the Dodgers. A night filled with opportunities missed. Here's Chad Fonville. Upstairs, ball 1. The Dodgers started the day leading by 1 game in the West. The Rockies have won at Pittsburgh, so that lead is down to a half game and in jeopardy here as the Dodgers play in the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing by 4 runs. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Coming into this game, the Mets in last place in the East, the Dodgers in first in the West, and yet they were divided evenly 5-5 in their season series. A 3-ball, no strike count.
I mentioned earlier that Fonville and Butler have become good friends, and Butler was explaining to me that Fonville really wants to learn. He's working with him on bunting techniques. He's working with him on understanding the role of a leadoff hitter. And he thinks that Fonville eventually can be a very, very good leadoff hitter. He was not taking enough walks before, and Butler has been working with him so that if he ever becomes a leadoff man again, he'll know how to deal with that position.
Well, he draws the walk here. That's his 15th of the year. He's on base for the 3rd time today. 2 men on with 2 men out, and Roberto Kelly, who entered the game in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter and singled, will bat again in the 7th. Nice stop by Stinnett, ball 1. Roberto Kelly has been much traveled the last couple years. At one time, the Yankees thought he would develop into a superstar. Some good numbers with men in scoring position. Ground ball, first base. Brogna unassisted to retire the side. No runs, and the Dodgers leave 2 more. We're through 7 innings. The Mets hold a 4-run, 5-1 lead. 4-1, the Mets leading the Dodgers, who have stranded 14 men tonight as we go into the 8th inning. And the Dodgers will bring on another pitcher. Candiotti for 6, Cummings for 1, and now Pedro Estacio will get the call and become their 3rd pitcher of the night.
And Estacio was pitching in the game in Philly the other night. He got a ground ball back off his knee, threw a couple more pitches, had to lead the ball game. Sionez came in, threw 1 pitch, a home run to Charlie Hayes, and the Dodgers lost that ball game, and they released Sionez after the game. So Estacio back out there now.
Well, there's Jeff Kent. I think Sionez was one of only 3 Dodgers who had a contract for next year. And now he's gone. Jeff Kent leads off, and the pitch to him is too low, ball 1. I think Piazza and Karros are signed for next year, and that's it now. A ball, no strikes, the count on Jeff Kent. Estacio out of the bullpen. A 2-ball, no strike count. This is his 37th appearance. He made 11 starts and then was sent to the bullpen for the first time, made his first relief appearance on June the 23rd against the Giants. hit right back through the middle for Jeff Kent, who's on for the second time tonight. So leadoff single for Kent. Sunday Night Baseball coming up. The game of the week, the Kansas City Royals and the Texas Rangers at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. That's a key game in the wild card race in the American League. Reminder, those in Texas and Chicago will see the Blue Jays and the White Sox. Sunday Night Baseball, the Royals and the Rangers. Wild card race, Texas by just a half game on Kansas City, Milwaukee, and Seattle. Rico Brogna at the plate. Foul ball. Brogna homered in the 6th inning, his 16th home run of the year. These young New York Mets. And the Mets have won 9 of their last 12. And 50 and 63 overall. And they're turning out to be more than a nemesis to the Dodgers. The Mets beat the Dodgers last night and lead tonight. Fastball is upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Bush, the replacement player, arriving here to a lot of controversy yesterday. A tap right side. Stasio is going to run it in himself as Kent moves into second. So Brogna is out, the pitcher unassisted. Kent now in scoring position.
Center fielder, number 20, Ryan Thompson.
The Dodgers in the second game of a 9-game homestand. A frustrating night. We have the Mets and the Expos and the Phillies due in on this homestand, and ordinarily they think, well, that's okay. But, you know, they just completed a road trip with those 3 clubs and finished 4 and 7. Shot by the third baseman, Hansen. Thompson around first, on his way to second. He will beat the throw in as he has doubled home Jeff Kent to make it a 6-1 ball game. Double for Thompson. Now let's go to Carl Ravitch and check in on the Padres.
All right, it is over and it ended in a strange way, Dwayne. Expos and Padres, bases loaded. Last inning, and RTC Franco gets hit by a Greg Harris pitch. That allows the winning run to come across the plate. And hello, Dodgers. Here come the Padres. The final score, 3-2. Caminiti, a 2-run home run, is 16th. Dwayne?
All right, Carl. The Dodgers already have been frustrated enough tonight. Here at Dodger Stadium, they've seen the Rockies win and the Padres win behind them.
And how about those Giants? They've had a very disappointing season, and they're still in the race.
Coach Husky chases this one, strike 1.
And they've beaten the Phillies the last 2 days, so Phillies start this West Coast swing. When they started, they were in first place in the wild card race, and they have lost the first 2 on the road trip.
Each team with 9 hits now, as Thompson has picked up his second double of the night. It's 6-1 New York. Vizcaíno with 2 runs batted in. Brogna 1, Thompson 1. Stinnett has 1, and the other run scored on an error. And the ball hit by Husky. There's a roller to short. Offerman up with this one to first for the second out. And on the play, Thompson moves over to third. So he'll be at third base with the catcher Kelly Stinnett coming up.
33, Kelly Stinnett.
Stinnett is 2 for 3 and could be 3 for 3. He was retired in the third on a good play by Hansen. Stinnett singled and scored in the 5th and doubled home a run in the 6th inning. Stasio throws a strike. When they sent Estacio to the bullpen, he made no bones about it. He just could not see himself in that role. He thought of himself as a starting pitcher and ultimately feels that his future would be as a starting pitcher. He's going to have to earn his way back in to that particular role, however.
Again, the starting pitching has not been the Dodgers' big problem, so it'll be tough for him really to just move back into the rotation. I guess Nomo's going tomorrow against Tailgater for the New York Mets.
A 2-strike count. And strike 3 is called to retire the side. So the Mets pick up an additional run. We're headed into the bottom of the 8th with the score 6-1. Lead off. Butler's been on base 4 times tonight. And receives again some applause and some boos as he steps in. First pitch to him is in there for a strike. Mike Piazza is due to hit 3rd in the inning. It will be Butler, Offerman, and then Piazza. Butler shows the bunt, taking the pitch too low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mlicki for 5 1/3. Henry has an inning and 2/3 under his belt as he starts the bottom of the 8th. Again showing bunt, taking ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Butler started the night right at 300. So he's had a good night. He's been left on base every time he's reached base. Drives this one into right. Everett back in front of the track and now drifting back onto the warning track to make the catch. Well, Butler, who has 1 home run this year, sent Everett all the way back to the warning track. After reaching base 4 times and being left in scoring position every time, he made a bid for the long ball. It comes up short.
Yeah, he doesn't pull the ball that much, but when he does, he drives the ball pretty well, but they hadn't played perfectly.
Jose Offerman takes a strike. There are a lot of games during a season, and you're going to have lots of highs and lows and good nights, bad nights. I just can't imagine that the Dodgers could have too many more nights that would be as frustrating as this one, especially when they see their lead starting play only a half game because the Rockies have won already, and the Dodgers trying to hold on to the division lead and their sole possession of first place in jeopardy. Ground ball, and Brogna makes quite a play. Henry off the mound to cover. Rico Brogna with a heck of a play for the 2nd out.
Let's take a look at the bats with Mike Piazza. As I said earlier, the good hitters, you have to keep them honest inside. The Mets have used the inside pitch perfectly. The inside pitch, this is his first at bat. The inside pitch sets up, see that pitch there sets up the winner out here. Next time up, the outside pitch sets up the inside strikeout. There's the inside strikeout right here. And the last time up, another fastball in, another one in, and then they find the outside corner. Perfect pitching to Mike Piazza tonight. That is why he is 0 for 4 in this ball game. Just great pitching by the Mets. Great use of the fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Sunday, 7 runs batted in against the Phillies. Tonight, 0 for 4 with 10 men left on base. 3 times tonight, 3 times in succession, he left the bases loaded. Doug Henry's first pitch was low and away for a ball. He fouls this one out of play, so the count is 1-1.
And remember, it looks easy. They've made it look easy by being able to get the fastball up and in. 2 things. You have to have a good enough fastball that you can go inside, and you have to be able to make sure you get it inside. And when you get it inside, it will always open up the outside part of the plate. It doesn't matter who is hitting. If you make them conscious of the fact that you will come inside and they can't handle it, they have to look for it inside, and then the outside becomes your pitch.
12 of the last 14 pitches thrown to him have been strikes. And now a base hit into left center field. Thompson makes the pickup. A 2-out single for Piazza. The Dodgers have now actually out-hit the Mets 10-9. But the base hit comes with 2 outs and the base is empty in the 8th.
Well, I mean, Piazza is a smart hitter. I mean, finally he's just going to say, okay, I got to make contact. He did not take a big swing here. And watch, he doesn't take a big swing here. He just lines it into center field. But that's what we're talking about. You miss and get that ball over the middle of the plate, and he'll do something with it.
And Joe, it's been the kind of night for the Dodgers that even the base hits are frustrating in their own way.
You're right. Very frustrating.
Yep.
I mean, he's 1 for 5. Obviously, that's better than 0 for 5, but he's saying to himself, I've had a very poor night.
Eric Karros, 1 strike to count to him. He's 1 for 4. Karros doubled his first time up, and then he ran into problems. Makes this one high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Karros behind Piazza in the 4th inning, left the bases loaded. And again in the 6th inning. So he's had a frustrating night as well. Line drive off the glove of Kent, who will recover and flip to second to Vizcaino to retire the side as he recovered to get the force play.
Well, it was a bad base running play by Piazza. There were 2 outs, and he stopped.
So we are through 8 with the score, the Mets 6 and the Dodgers 1. It's 6-1, the Mets leading the Dodgers as the Mets try to take an advantage in the season series. The Dodgers call upon another left-hander. Mark Guthrie becomes their 4th pitcher of the night. The former Minnesota Twin makes his 14th appearance.
And a lot of people feel that he was a real important part of that trade they made to bring Kevin Tapani over here from the Twins.
So Guthrie faces his pitching opponent, Henry, who's up there for the first time. No ball, no strike. This is a novel experience for Henry, who strokes a base hit into center field. So Henry, on the second pitch delivered, comes up with a base hit. And that could very well be his first big league hit.
Left fielder, number 6, Joe.
Unless somehow he managed to get an at-bat in the American League, because he spent his entire career with the Brewers, and that is his first big league hit. So in his first at-bat, Henry picks up his first big league hit, and I guess from the Dodger perspective, it is only a natural occurrence tonight. It's been that kind of night for the Dodgers. Now Joe Orsulak. The pitch is high, ball 1. By the way, word on Raul Mondesi is he left with a strained right groin. This one is too low. 2 balls and no strikes to count. And Piazza out to the mound to talk with Guthrie. Well, a reminder, you'll want to stick around for Sports Center. Larry Beal and Kenny Mayne will be along to update the wild card baseball races, results from the U.S. Open, and an update on the NBA union vote. Sports Center coming up following the ball game. This one is down, and the count is 3-0. Ball 4, too low. So a base hit to the opposing pitcher, and now a walk to Orsulak on 4 straight pitches.
Shortstop, number 15.
With 2 men on,
Jose,
nobody out. A tough night for Tommy Lasorda. His club trailing 6-1. And Vizcaino, who drove in 2 big runs in the 5th inning with a base hit, he's only hit tonight 1 for 4.
As you said, it's been a very frustrating evening and season, really, for Tommy Lasorda and the Dodgers.
And the pitch is in there for a strike.
Every time the Dodgers have had a good win streak, it looked like they're going to go ahead and play well, then they fall backwards, and then they have to start all over again. And now they're starting from scratch almost again.
Vizcaíno takes this one low.
Although they are still obviously in first place, and if they lose this ball game, they'll be in a tie with the Colorado Rockies.
And the Dodgers somehow trying to get into the postseason. They have not been in a playoff since '88 when they had that great year. Foul, that's headed for the Mets dugout. Look out. Scattered the Mets. That's Tommy McCraw. He got out of the way. Husky hitting the deck. And everybody's okay.
That's Pete Harnish.
And Ryan Thompson down there demonstrating how he saved McCraw.
And there's Harnish, who has had an operation. And he is out for the season, obviously, pitcher.
Vizcaíno chases one in the dirt for the first out. A strikeout for Guthrie. So one out with 2 men on base.
Right fielder.
And Pete Harnish was one of their veteran pitchers. And the Mets are saying that what they need next year to be a contender is a top-line pitcher, meaning a veteran pitcher, to go with these young players, and a big bat, an RBI man, who can fit in well. Of course, they traded away an RBI man in Bobby Bonilla.
Now Everett, hitting right-handed, swings over this one, strike one. He was part of the veteran exodus with Butler and Bonilla gone. You could include Segui in there and Saberhagen, giving the young players a chance to play. They have more in the minor leagues. Fly ball, right center field, in the gap. Cut off just in front of the wall by Kelly. Henry will score. Orsulak to third on the double by Everett. And the Mets add to their lead. It's now 7-1.
Second baseman.
First hit tonight by Carl Everett, driving in his 31st run of the year.
It's a fastball out over the plate. Everett's going the other way with it, and he finds a gap in right center field. Pitch was up a little bit, and the Mets have finally overtaken the Dodgers in base hits.
Henry with a baseball for his trophy case, picking up his first big league hit and now scoring a run. And with Jeff Kent up there, he will be intentionally walked. This loads the bases with the left-handed batter Brogna due next. So it continues to be a rough night for the Dodgers. Guthrie, their fourth pitcher. Candiotti started and gave up 5 runs, 3 earned in 6 innings. Cummings for 1 perfect inning. Estacio a run in an inning. Guthrie has been touched for a run and has the bases loaded with 1 out as he faces Rico Brogna. Brogna's home run in the 6th inning was his 16th of the year. Starts in with a strike. Brogna now leads the Mets in home runs. Kent has 15 and Brogna 16. Ground ball to Shields to second, 1, and no return throw as another run crosses the plate. Orsulak scores the second run of the inning, and it's 8-1. Everett goes to third. Kent forced at second, and Brogna picks up his second run batted in tonight. It's 55 on the year.
fielder, number 20, Ryan Thompson.
And here's Ryan Thompson. Thompson, 2 for 4. 2 doubles and a run batted in. First pitch, a strike around the knees.
And Thompson's one of those veteran players, one of the guys they got in a trade of a veteran player, David Cone, when he went to Toronto. They figured Ryan Thompson was going to be their center fielder of the future and so forth and so on, but he is gradually starting to come around now and show the Mets what they expected when they made the trade. He and Jeff Kent, of course, came in the David Cone deal.
This one's fouled out of play, 0-2. And when they made the trade, I think Thompson, for his athletic ability, is the player they really like. Kent has turned out to give them some pop from the infield. 15 home runs at their second base spot. And Thompson, they hope, would develop into a little more selective hitter. He is out on strikes to retire the side. 2-run score for the Mets in the inning. And we'll go into the bottom of the ninth with the Mets leading the Dodgers 8-1. Back at Dodger Stadium to go into the bottom of the ninth inning. And Mike Bush will come off the bench to pinch hit for the pitcher.
Leading off for the Dodgers and batting for Guthrie, number 25, Mike Bush.
Bush being announced to the remaining crowd here at Dodger Stadium on what has been a very frustrating evening for the Dodgers and their fans. And Bush, who did 18 home runs at Albuquerque, receives a positive response with the ovation as he takes a strike. Bush, the center of all the controversy when he joined the club yesterday, up for the first time in the big leagues. And the breaking ball is over for a strike, and the count is 0-2. The Dodger bench almost as silent as their lineup has been tonight when it comes to run production. It's been a frustrating night for the Dodgers. And Bush is out on strikes. So Henry strikes him out. First out here in the ninth. Bush walking back into the dugout.
And that had to be a very difficult at bat, for Bush. And, you wouldn't wish that on anyone, that his first major league bat comes under those types of circumstances.
Interesting seating arrangement in that dugout with Bush right next to Brett Butler.
Well, I think Bush sat next to Brett. It wasn't Brett sitting next to Bush, but again, that's a difficult situation for a guy to have to go in under his first major league at bat.
The Shields with a base hit off the 1-0 pitch. Reminder now, Sports Center is coming up next as soon as our ball game is over. Larry Beal and Kenny Mayne standing by to bring you up to date on all the work.
I think the tough thing is you're going to have to wait and see how this plays out, see what happens in the next couple of weeks with the Dodgers.
Here's Dave Hansen. The pitch is down, ball 1.
Usually when you're going down the stretch of a pennant race, it's the teams that pull together the best are the ones that end up the victors. And you hate to have something that will disrupt that kind of chemistry or teams or players pulling together.
And the pitch is down. A 2-ball, no strike count. Henry in relief of Dave Mlicki. And there's a strike. 2-1. Each team with 11 hits, but the Mets have 8 of the 9 runs scored tonight. The Dodgers have stranded 15 men. And it's foul, headed out of play. Count goes to 2-2. One on, one out. 2-2 the count to Hansen. Bonville on deck. The 2-2. And a tap towards short. Vizcaino steps on the bag and throws to first for the double play to mercifully end this one for the Dodgers. Mets win it 8-1.
Well, I think we said it all earlier, Dwayne, and that is that this was a typical Dodger season. Errors, mistakes, and men left on base have been their downfall so far this season.
Mets win again, 10 of their last 13, and the Dodgers now share first with the Rockies. The final from Dodger Stadium, the Mets 8 and the Dodgers 1. Stay tuned for SportsCenter next for all the action from around the majors. For Joe Morgan and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dewayne Staats saying good night from Los Angeles.